Hello. Okay, I'm making this video. Today is March 23rd, 2022, and I have to be kind of quiet because the walls here are super thin. I am in Scotland today, and I've had a crazy day, and I just wanted to share what happened to me today while it was still in my mind. Okay, so where do I start? Once upon a time. No. Okay, so this is my story. I've been a Christian all my life. I grew up in church. I was baptized when I was 8 years old. I've been in different denominations my whole life. Pentecostal, Mennonite, Baptist, Wesleyan, Lutheran, Catholic, and I think there's beautiful facets of the Lord in all the denominations. Maybe not every denomination, but in all of those denominations. But I also have felt kind of like it's been hard for me to articulate the things I believe, because I've always been very aware of offending people who don't believe the same thing as me. And I've been fairly I don't know the word. I've been fairly careful about stepping on people's toes because I don't love confrontation. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I had longer. Nope, longer. For a lot of my life, I have been very aware of the Lord's voice in my life. When he's leading me, when he's talking to me, when he's teaching me, when he's, convicting me, encouraging me. And because of my own various things, I have struggled with it because different teaching and different denominations and different theologies would say, like you can't hear the Lord. He doesn't communicate with people individually anymore. And I mean, I kind of have heard different people and their thoughts about this. People I respect, people I love, people that I know are very good-hearted and love the Lord, and I have a lot of respect for. And so because of that, it really caused me to wrestle for a long time with, like, what does it mean to hear the Lord's voice? What does that mean? And it was actually really difficult for me for a long time. Very difficult for me. Just so difficult. Anyway, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I had, this is going to be way too long of a story if I tell every detail of what the Lord has done. So I'm going to try and hit the highlights. About 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer, I had, all right, I'm just going to tell this part of it because it was so good. I had an opportunity to help with the elder care of a man who had fairly advanced dementia and wasn't all there, but he was a believer, a pastor. And even though he wasn't like cognitive of me, while I was taking care of him for a week as respite, I was wrestling with, does the Lord really speak to me or not? Like, I think I hear the Lord's voice to me. I think he speaks to me, but I am very hesitant to presume that I'm hearing the Lord. Like, who am I to hear from the Lord? And so I had decided that that week I was going to be specifically seeking in prayer. I was deciding I fasted, like reading, music, TV, literally anything that would distract me. I was literally only going to read my Bible and pray and ask the Lord to settle it in my heart one way or the other. And that week I was taking care of this man and his wife, and he was not all there, like he didn't know my name, he didn't recognize me, but I was helping him, giving him dinner, and helping him get, live, helping him, like a kind of like working like a nurse's aide. And about 5 days in, I was putting his shoes on his feet, kneeling down, and he was sitting at the kitchen table, and I wish I had recorded it, because he started going, he was, I don't even know how to explain it. He started to literally be filled with the Spirit and speak out praises to the Lord. He was like, oh, the Lord is so good. Oh, God is so good, isn't he? Isn't he so good? And I was like, yeah, he is. Like, God is good. I know you love the Lord. I know. And I knew he loved the Lord. He was a pastor. I knew he was a pastor. And he was like, oh, and isn't he so good? And his voice is so wonderful. And he speaks to us. And I was like, yeah, I mean, through the Bible. And then he said, and he looked right in my face, and he goes, and you know his voice, don't you? You've heard his voice. You hear it, I know. And I was like, I was just so shocked. I can't even tell you how impactful it was. It was phenomenal. It was mind blowing to me, because like literally, like, you don't understand. This man had not directly spoken to me in 4 straight days, but he had been overcome with praises to the Lord, and then he spoke to me, and I was like, the Holy Spirit just came out of that man and spoke through him to me about this. That's what just happened. Anyway, so fast forward. I felt like the Lord in my life, when he spoke to me, told me that I had a calling, and specifically that he called me to be his voice, to speak his words to people, to speak on behalf of him. And I know that people have a problem with this, but I don't care anymore. The Lord specifically said, I'm called to be a prophet. I'm called to speak the voice of God. And like, being in my community of believers that there's no context for that. There's no framework. There's no place for that. I mean, there's just not. You can be a pastor if you're a guy. You can be a teacher of children if you're a girl. Maybe youth group, maybe women. You can be a worship leader. You can be a deacon if you're a guy. There's jobs in the church, but the job of a prophet is like, that's not a thing anymore, right? Which, I mean, because we don't read the New Testament, which is full of apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists. But anyway, it was very uncomfortable for the Lord to tell me that he was calling me to be a prophet, because I really just don't want to be a problem or presumptive. But I love the Lord. I love Him. I love the Lord. And I want to be wholeheartedly serving the Lord no matter what I do. And when I read the Bible, and when I study the Bible, and when I teach the Bible, oh, I just love what the Lord does. I just love how He works. I love how good He is. And I want to do anything the Lord wants me to do, you know? Anyway, so I was kind of wrestling with this. What does this even mean? What does it look like? I don't know, you know? And then a couple of years ago, like in 2019 or 2020, I heard this woman, Emma Stark, from Ireland, and she was talking about what it means to be called a prophet and why prophets are necessary now in the New Testament, in the church age, what their role is. And I was like, I've never heard anybody teach this, like never. Anyway, and when she was done talking, it was just one podcast I listened to. When she was done, she was like, I'm starting an emerging prophets program. So if you're called to be a prophet, come join our program. And I was like, I'm doing this. Anyway, I just literally applied to be an emerging prophet, and I was accepted, and I started doing it virtually in 2021. And in order to be a part of the emerging prophets program, you have to you're supposed to attend once or twice a year in Scotland. I knew that was going to be financially kind of a stretch, but of course in 2021 it didn't happen because of COVID. But this was the first one of 2022, and I did all of last year's training. But actually there was one in November that I could have gone to, but I was scared. I was really scared, and I didn't go. I don't know. I don't know what I was scared of, but I was scared. But I've been doing virtual training with the Emerging Prophet Program since January of 2021. And now I'm over here for the intensive this week in March. And this is the good part of the story. So today, first of all, this week's intensive, the focus was on deliverance, which feels like so scary. It felt scary and weird to to come and learn about deliverance, but also all right, I'm all in. I want to hear about it, you know? So I came, and one of the things I was thinking when I came over was even though I say that I believe in the unseen realm, I say that biblically I have a theology for angels and demons and everything, heaven, hell, everything in between. I honestly feel like I have never seen it. I've never seen it. I've never seen anything that would give me any physical evidence that it's true. I mean, maybe I have, but in reality, nothing huge. I've never been, I know some people have been overseas where there's more manifestations of things. I never have. But also, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. So I'd never seen that, but I also evidence. Anyway, so I was thinking when I was coming over that one of the things that I wanted to settle in my heart was how much do I really believe this? I say I believe this, but how much do I really believe it? And I was like, man, it would be really nice to see a miracle, like a healing, or I don't know. I would like to see somebody set free from a demon. Let's see it. I want to see it. In addition to that, do you know that before I left, in the last 3 weeks, I have had several conversations with people, believers, who have had oppression in their life, that feels so hopeless that it almost, like I have said, it feels like the church has no more victory or power than the unbelievers. Like the church of God, we claim we have hope, we have victory, we have power through Christ, but in reality, we are beset by hopelessness and addiction and troubles and like all kinds of things. And we have no greater success in victory over these things than they do outside of the world. And that's not okay. That's wrong. Because what is the gospel? Like, the gospel is the good news that we have victory and there is hope in the Lord for every hopeless circumstance. And no, that doesn't mean, I'm not even going to give any caveats. I don't care. The gospel does not mean life sucks, but you get to go to heaven. That's not the gospel. That's not the good news. The good news is that Jesus Christ is Lord over every single thing, every wicked and demonic thing, every hurtful and horrible thing on this earth. Jesus Christ died to set us free from it. That's the gospel. Anyway, I'm just going to say that. So, this is my story. Oh my gosh, I'm 15 minutes in. I'm just now getting to this. So I came over, and we did a few days of teaching, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is. I think today's Wednesday. Anyway, this afternoon, they were like, okay, listen, you guys are going to learn how to do deliverance, and then you're going to practice delivering each other. I'm like, okay, but like, what do I have? Like, I mean, obviously there's things that bother me sometimes. Like, yeah, we all have things that we'd love to overcome. But like, I'm like, what do I have that I need deliverance for? I don't know. Okay, so we filled out these little questionnaires about our lives, kind of like asking to kind of give each other kind of like a little framework for deliverance. And when I filled mine out, I was like kind of trying to be a little transparent about like struggles in my life and like whatever. And my partners, I'm a guy and a girl partner, and they like were like, okay, let's try this. So I'm like, okay, I'm game. Like, okay. So I stood up and they started like, first of all, we started with like me like repenting of any like way that I might have um agreed with the kingdom of darkness and allowed him to take like a lot. Like, how do I explain it? Like, first of all, I started by saying I don't want anything to do with darkness, Satan, the kingdom of darkness. I want to be fully the Lord's. Kind of started along that line. And then as they started to like minister to me and like talk to me, I can't even like tell you every detail of how it happened, but I started to have like a heavy violent reaction in me. And I think at first like I was like crying and heaving, and at first like I think they thought there's like a demon making her do this. But then actually Emma came over to me and was like, this isn't a demon, this is like a part of her from her childhood that's like not healed. And when she said that, I started like completely just panicking. Like I had such a mode of panic. So much panic and so much like distress. And I felt like so helpless and such a child. Like I felt like a baby. And I was like panicking really bad. And I can't even tell you all the things that happened, but I just want to say that I was set free and I was healed. I was set free and I was healed. And I was set free from literally a spirit of suicide and depression and death that has been hanging over me for a long time. And I can't even explain how happy I feel. Like I had no idea how unhappy I was. But on the other hand, I was like completely healed today of like this like childhood thing that was like bottled up inside of me, locked inside of me. And you know what's so funny? This is so funny to me. For years, I felt like, how come I feel like sometimes, like, I'm an adult, but people don't take me seriously? Like, I feel like that a lot. Like, this sense that, like, other adults treat me like I'm a child, and I hate it. And I don't like it, and I don't know what that is. I've thought that a lot. And today, afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, that like broken child piece of me feels like mature and like totally confident. And when I was done, when it was all over, all I could think is like, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to be free. This is what it feels like to be free. If this is what it feels like, this is deliverance. It's like freedom. It's freedom. And like in the past, when something like cool happened to me like this, I would be like, man, I don't think I can tell you. I've never been 100% transparent about my faith and the things the Lord has done with me, in my life. Because I always had just kind of a level of like fear about being rejected and about being talked bad about or whatever. But the joy that I have from being free right now makes me so unafraid to tell everybody this, because like if even one other person hears my message and says, I want freedom because of this, then like I don't care who calls me crazy. Jesus set me free. Jesus Christ, the King of the heaven, met me and like rescued me from death and set me free and healed my hurts from my childhood, from my whole life, and made me so that right now I am like, I am so happy. I'm so safe and so free in Him. And like, I know that sounds crazy, but you know what? I bet you every demon possessed person, you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Jesus was setting people free left and right. And don't tell me those people did not sound crazy to their friends. We should all sound crazy. We should all sound just so crazy excited about Jesus. Because I am. Anyway, this has been a very long video. I want to tell you a million more things. If you're still watching. I'm going to be home Monday. And then I'll be home in Jasper. But the week of, if you're from Lewis County, I'm going to be in Lewis County the week of April 5th, that week-ish. And I would love to talk more about any of this with anybody. And I would love to practice setting people free if you're willing, if you're game to try, because technically I learned how to do it today. But it'll be a learning process, but we could do it together. Anyway, that's what I want to say. And you know what? If you are watching this and you think that I am gone off my rocker and untrustworthy and unbiblical, I'm very sorry. I hope the Lord sets you free. Okay, that's all I want to say. God bless you. Jesus is King. Bye.